Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at SME10X. We're very, very pleased to introduce this exclusive webinar series in partnership with SAP on a very important and timely subject, which is e-commerce. And today, it's my privilege to have two industry experts joining me that are going to highlight some very important facets around e-commerce. They're also going to talk about how, as a business, you can take advantage of a solution that can be quickly implemented and is very affordable. So please welcome our first expert for today, Shahid Karmish, Pre-Sales Manager at SAP.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Great to see all of you. I would love to welcome you for joining this session, which we are hosting together with our partner, eArabia. I think this is, we live in a very challenging time with COVID-19. And with SAP and together with eArabia, we have been working on a very nice, good offer that can help your business. I would love to go to my slides and move to the first slide. And what we see basically lately in the region and basically globally is that there is a big shift happening in the behavior of people. And that's, of course, due to the COVID-19 situation. And if you go to the slide, to my first slide, we see globally a big shift in how people are buying their products. And products, of course, could be any kind of product. Of course, in many countries, this is due to the closing of a lot of retail stores or brick and mortar stores, that people have been forced to move to the online channels. What we see as SAP globally is that most of our customers who have been joining us on that journey, that there is a big increase in the online sale. And of course, when it comes to the offline, there is a big decrease. And these numbers are across the globe, all over the globe. It is somehow the same. The trend is the same. And we see also a big shift in what people are buying, how much they are buying, in which segments they are buying, and what kind of products they are buying. So a big increase in the online sales, and a decrease, of course, in the people really moving into the retail stores. If you go to the next slide, locally in the region, if you look at Carrefour, one of our customers running SAP Commerce, of course, Carrefour, when it comes to groceries, everyone needs groceries these days. And you see a lot of challenge or a lot of changes happening in the market when it comes to the groceries and specifically within the consumer products. You see, for example, Noon.com, who came up with a new offering where they also started to sell groceries. In this case, when we talk about Carrefour running on SAP Commerce, they have seen a big spike in online orders, which went over 300% in the time frame when we talk about February and March. This, of course, has a big impact on the business itself. The commerce solution definitely was able to support that, but it has a big impact on when it comes to the fulfillment and basically the process that comes after someone buys a product. So Carrefour, the nice thing what they have done is because they are part of Maisons du Monde and they have a lot of different retail stores which have been closed due to the COVID-19 situation, they basically redeployed many of their staff, more than 1,000 people, into the Carrefour business where they were helping to fulfill the orders that people have been buying online. So this is just one of the examples that's happening in the region. One of our other customers in Saudi Arabia, one of our biggest electronics retailer, basically in 1 month, the amount of orders that they have seen increased by more than 350%. And that was also the same case with their online revenue compared to a couple months back. So the shift is definitely happening. And if we move to the next slide, the question that a lot of customers are asking is this something that will stay there? Is there, let's say, will the situation go back to normal after COVID-19? So that's definitely something very difficult to understand. But the one thing that I have read in all kind of different newspapers and a lot of studies that has been done is that they're all saying the same thing. And it's, yes, people will go back to normal, but there will be a change in their mindset. There will be a change in their behavior. And one of the changes that they will have is definitely when it comes to the health, they will be more cautious. But from the other angle, also, there is a big change in how people will buy products. There will be more and more people will be more moving into the online channel. They have experienced maybe the easiness of buying online, and there will be a shift to that channel. If we go to the next slide, I think because of that, we see a lot of businesses talking to us where they really want to onboard that journey of being present online. And some of them, they're already online and they want to expand that and into different channels. It could be that they want to move into more a marketplace concept, or they want to explore other business models. But we also have customers who haven't onboarded that journey. And because of that, we came up with this offering together with eArabia, is, okay, how can we help those customers who haven't onboarded that journey to still onboard that journey in a very short time frame? And we are leveraging for that, of course, SAP Commerce, which is a leading platform within the industry, where we can help customers with all kinds of different business models, either if it's B2C, if you're talking B2B, or we're talking about marketplaces. We have seen customers, a lot of big manufacturers, big wholesalers who really want to jumpstart on the journey and move into, let's say, the B2B space, and some of them, they want to move directly to the B2C space, and we are here to support those kind of scenarios. Just before I hand it over to my colleague, we see when it comes to the COVID-19, specifically within the retail industry, there are three main areas that we see that the impact has been happening on. Definitely the supply chain. The supply chain has been affected due to many reasons, because the big spikes in sales orders when it comes to online, the supply chain has been affected. But anyway, supply chain has been affected due to the travel restrictions that we see happening, or that has been happening across the globe. The buying behavior has changed. People, of course, have been forced to buy online, and because the stores, most of the stores have been closed, the people have been moving into the online shopping, and that's where we see the big increase, and of course the decrease when it comes to the store visits. From the other angle, it's becoming more and more important that people or the companies really understand what the voice of the customers is. What do they really think about the products, about the offerings that they offer as a brand? And this is becoming more and more crucial. And this is really important for the businesses to really be agile in that and understand the behavior of the consumer, track them, personalize their offerings based on their behavior. Having said that, I would love to hand it over to my colleague Sabi, who will take you through the proposal that we came up with to help customers to really make a jump start within the commerce area. I will hand it over to Sabi.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I had my mic on mute. Hello again. I hope everyone, thank you for joining us. I hope everyone is staying safe in these tough times. My name is Sabi Kanan. I am the CEO of eArabia, stands for E-Commerce Arabia. eArabia is SAP's oldest partner in the region implementing commerce solutions. We have over 40 successful implementations. And because we have these successful implementations, we were able to actually collect some data that we would like to present to you today, just to show you the status of e-commerce in this day and age. Can we go to the first slide, please? Okay. So the data that we collected, first of all, let me just describe that we had to normalize it to protect our clients' privacy and confidentiality. So everything you will see here is out of 100. So we labeled the highest month as 100. We first divided the world into two sectors, B2C and B2B online sales. So on the B2C, we see that B2C has grown tremendously under the Corona days. So in the past 2 months, we see that in March, sales have grown by 243%. And in April, they grew to 500% of the average monthly sales since January 18. And these are tremendous shifts. B2B, not so much. In March, sales were at 148% of the average, and that reflects the fact that some of the offices were still working, some of the business were still working and functioning normally for the better part of the of March, and also because there was an uptrend growth in business to business. In April, they declined to 58% of the average monthly sales. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, in this slide, we broke it down even more by industry, but these are all B2C now, and we will show you the trends in B2C. So the food industry has grown by 480%, 490%, close to 500%. Obviously, people were used to already ordering food online, but lockdowns and curfews have propelled them to buy even more online. Apparel, we see that there has also been a shift. So people are staying at home, they are buying more. Not as much as food, maybe, but it did grow by 270%. And that growth was in March. I guess people were nervous at the beginning, and they started buying online, even apparel. Homeware, online sales, we did not see that much uptick in March, but we did in April. So after staying for a while at home, people started buying appliances, they started buying homeware, plates, dishes, etc., grew by 736%. Electronic sales have grown by a lot more in April again. So it wasn't in March that they grew, but I think the extended period of time that they stayed at home, they started buying even electronics, more and more electronics. 1,400% is the growth in electronics shopping online. High-end luxury online, 300%. So it's a modest growth, but we still see that, and that happened also in April, that after a while, people got used to more buying, and also the fact that they did not see an end to this, they started buying more and more. Shall we go to the next slide? So this is what we have learned from these slides that we've shown you. So attention is shifting from the large marketplaces to traditional businesses with e-commerce. In the past, it used to be that when people wanted to buy, they would go to Amazon, they would go to Noon, they would go to these large marketplaces and buy from them. One, because of the pressure that was placed on these marketplaces, and two, because people started missing some of their old traditional brick and mortar businesses, they started looking for them online. And when they find them online, they are actually buying from them online. So that's caused a lot of the shift. And we believe that this shift is here to stay. We believe that more and more people will start buying from the stores that they know online, and they are more comfortable with them delivering. We also see that more B2B businesses, because of the decline, the recent decline, that more of them are now trying to reach the customer or the consumer directly. So they are now, instead of just having the B2B business, which they have seen decline quite a bit, they are now trying to reach the customer through a B2C commerce. And that's something, by the way, because we are running on commerce, it's something that we are able to give them, because you can build B2B and B2C operations on the same platform. So you don't even need additional licenses for something like that. Also, what we've discovered is that the longer the business had an e-commerce channel, the more it's benefiting now. That's because they already have the operation in order. The process flows correctly. You receive an order, you are able to fulfill it. More and more fulfillment, meaning that you can actually get the order to the client or to the customer in time and much faster. So the older that you're in the business, the better off you are. And we expect that this uptrend will continue. As Shahid said, the Nielsen report shows that this trend is here to stay. So there will be a decline. We understand that there will be a decline, but eventually, when we go back to the levels that we are, we will not go back to the levels that we were at before. We will still see that there was an uptick, and it may not be 1,400% as electronics, but we're expecting that will be 3 to 4 times of what we've seen before. Shall we go to the next slide, please? So Shahid has talked about this solution that we came up with jointly together. So when we started brainstorming about how we can help businesses in this era, we talked about that the biggest impediment usually to e-commerce is all the preparation that you need to do and all the time that it will take you to implement. And this implementation, we were able to develop a rapid deployment. We call it QCOM for quick commerce. And that we can do in as little as 21 days. right? Of course, that depends on your readiness to go online. Do you have your catalog in place? Do you have all your images in place? Do you have the right description, etc.? But this solution, if we go with it through it systematically, even if you have part of your catalog digitally enabled, we still can take you online in a relatively short period of time. So what do you get with that? Let's go to the next slide. So you get all of the commerce modules of SAP, right? The storefront, obviously, the search engine, the content management, customer service in the back end, order management in the back end, and also the product content management. So all of these you will get as part of the standard solution. You will also get more. You will get an iOS and mobile commerce. You will get integration with fulfillment, payment. You will also get marketing. You can also expand into integrating into your backend system. So this is a solution. You are getting a solution that is built in the right way so that you can keep growing on it. So you are not wasting your time. You're creating the base for a full e-commerce solution. This concludes my part of the presentation. I'm going to hand it back to Shahid to take you through the conclusion. Thank you very much. I will take some questions after that. Shahid?
Thank you, Sabi. That's really great. I think that's really important to mention. What Sabi has mentioned is that basically the whole concept that we're trying to offer to our customers in that very short time frame is we're providing a base. And what we see basically, if what we have seen based on our historical customer engagements and customers who are using SAP Commerce, we can divide the process or the involvement of the customer into 3 phases. So the short term, so we get now a lot of requests from customers who haven't been on that journey of going online. How can I get an online store as soon as possible? So that's basically exactly what we are trying to offer here. So we can come up with something in a very short time frame, and this is what you see in the first phase. That's an online store. You can start engaging with your customer, and then you can start making your transition and having fulfillment ready to be able to support that new online business. Over time, that this is a platform that really can help and grow with your business and grow with your maturity of you as a company. So in the next term, if we talk about from a 3 to 9 month time frame, we really start working with you to enhance the experience of the customers on the online channel, being more personalized to the customers, really understanding the behavior of the customers, and then try to differentiate the messaging that you give to the customer. So communicate different messages to different customers, or showing different information to different customers based on who the customer is. And the last stage is really when a customer is getting more and more mature, and we're talking about from a 9 to 2 years, 3 years time frame, where you then really start talking about, okay, how can I really provide an innovative omni-channel experience, where you connect the online store with the offline store, for example, where you have all the different channels that you provide from a business, could be from a call center perspective, from a marketing department, from the online channel, from the offline channels, the brick and mortar stores. How can we all connect that into one seamless experience that we can provide to our customers to just improve the experience that they have across all the channels from the brand perspective? So this is what SAP definitely can help you with, focusing now mainly on how can we get you up and running in a very short time frame. If you have any question, and I assume that you have quite some questions, we are all here together now to answer any questions you have. So please raise any questions. Sabi, I'm available, and we are more than happy to support you.
Thank you so much, Shahid, and thank you, Sabi. That was a great presentation. And I think it shed a lot of light in terms of what we are seeing on a macro level across the e-commerce sphere. Now, I have a few questions coming in live from the website as well as from Facebook and YouTube. But before we get into those, I have a question that I'd like to preempt with and kind of set the tone with. You guys talked a little bit about customer engagement in your presentations, and I know Shahid, you also shared a few use cases. I'd like you both to kind of jump in and talk a little more in detail about, since you guys are very much at the center of everything that's happening within the e-commerce space, what type of engagement are we seeing currently with customers based on your experience? Are there any highlights or experiences that you can share with our viewers?
Yeah, I will take that, and maybe Sabi can comment on that. From my perspective, from SAP side, what we see is that basically most of our engagements we have with our customers are around commerce. And we see, for example, manufacturers, wholesalers who are coming to us where they are saying, we would love to start engaging with our end customer. And that's not B2B. They want to go directly to the consumer. So we see like a shift happening from B2B to D2C, what we see, or direct to consumer. That's one of the shifts I see. Secondly, I see a lot of retailers contacting us. And retailers, I think more the bigger retailers who have, thinking about, let's say, malls, where they have multiple stores, multiple brands, where they don't have an online experience or an online presence available, where they want to start building out, let's say, a marketplace concept of building a platform where then more and more brands can be onboarded on the same platform. And this is something we have done with Carrefour. So if you go to Carrefour nowadays, you will see that on the top of the screen, you have something which is called brand stores. So what they have done using Carrefour website is they onboarded different customers or different brands available in the mall on the same platform. So at least they have a presence online where you can see the products that they are selling and start buying through the Carrefour website from those brands. So that's from my perspective that I see. Sabi, maybe from your end, anything that you have seen happening?
Sure, yeah, we've had similar experiences. We received many calls from our B2B customers trying to go directly to the consumer, B2C, primarily in the food industry. I mean, that is primarily in the food industry that we noticed. Restaurants have closed, hotels have closed, and you know that they're seeing their businesses decline. They still deliver to the retailers, but they wanted to reach the customer directly. A lot of retailers are also calling now that are not customers of ours, but they would like to go online. And this is why we worked, Shahid, like, you know that we worked with you because we have received all these calls that they want to go online, and they see that the time frame is short, right? They need to have this presence now because, again, like I said in my presentation, the longer that you have been in this business, in the e-commerce business, the better off you are because you are well positioned. You have all the logistics in place. And so they're trying, so they're seeing that their market share is slipping, and they want to go as fast as possible, as quickly as possible to the market. And so that's why we developed this quick commerce, is because we really wanted to help them out by saying, okay, you know what, we can shrink that. Let's not build the full solution. Let's at least give you something that you can start with initially. 3 to 4 weeks you can be online, and then we can worry about such things like integration with your backend system. If you don't need to if you're fulfilling, yourself, let's do the fulfillment integration later. But we will set you up with an order management system that will help you do that without having to go through a lot of pain in the transformation, etc. So I think that what we've come up with would help these retailers as well, right? So that's, and the ones that already are our clients are now thanking us for, because they are benefiting. It's literally their only channel now at this point. Some of them it's literally, and by the way, I'm not saying that it's all rosy, because they lost a lot of their offline business. So, there's a counter, so a lot of people are suffering out there, and we understand that. We understand and we fully appreciate it, right? But the ones that have e-commerce operations have suffered, slightly less, let's say, than the ones that did not.
Yeah, and I think just to add on top of that, I think in a normal situation, if you wouldn't be in this situation, we normally would speak around an implementation time frame around 3, 4, 5 months. And nowadays that is just not acceptable anymore, especially if the customers don't have any presence online. And that's basically the whole reason behind why we came up with this offering.
Super, thank you. So I'm just going to very quickly pick up a question that's come in from Facebook, and this is from Muneem. He asks, are there any best practices and enhancements you could recommend from your e-commerce experience that you've gained during your implementation journey? Sabi, probably this one is a good one for you to take.
Are there best practices? Yes, of course. There are many best practices. Okay. So first, on the design level, the design of your store, it has to be friendly. You have to have as fewer clicks as possible to complete the purchase. So that's on the design side. But also on the engagement side, you need to understand more what your client wants to do. So so you can actually link the full experience even from before the customer comes to your site by knowing where they are and how to bring them. But once you bring them, you need to really engage them. So customer engagement is definitely the goal, has become the gold standard. How do I get my customer engaged? But not, we always say that marketing is 3 phases, and specifically in the e-commerce world. One is reach, where you have to bring them. Second is engagement, and third is to turn them into loyal customers. So after you have engaged them, after they have purchased with you, even if they have not, you need to understand why they have not, right? And customer engagement would enable you to do that. And of course, having a platform like SAP's would also help you to do that, because it is equipped to do that. There are some personalizations you can make. There are some recommendations you can make. There are some pop-ups you can design. If you leave something in, if your customer leaves something in their cart, you can send them an email. But more importantly, if they don't buy, you want to know more about why they don't buy. And once they buy, you need to understand how their experience was, so you can help them with that. So yes, there are, from the design to the fulfillment, all the way to the engagement and to make them repeat customers. There are many of these that we have implemented for our clients. Even during this period, this past 2 months, many have requested more in order to deal more with the increased demand.
Excellent.
Yeah, so maybe to comment on that one, Sabi, just from an SAP perspective, is definitely what we have done is that from a commerce perspective, we brought a lot of functionalities into an accelerator.
Sure.
An accelerator, basically from SAP side, is basically a set of functionalities or best practices to jumpstart your business on the online channel. And we do have one for B2C, and we do have one for B2B, and one for marketplaces. And that's basically the thing that SAP provides to our customers as a set of best practices, as a solution that we can offer you.
Sure.
So I have a really good question coming in from Michael on YouTube. And he says, thanks, Sabi, for the insight. How do you think about the long-term impact? If we are up and running in 3 to 4 weeks, how do we scale with you and SAP from there on? Fantastic question, I think.
It's a fantastic question, yes. So first of all, from a market perspective, or at least an e-commerce perspective, we expect the trend to keep going, right? So there will be increased in demand. Now, the value of the proposition that we're making in this case with SAP is that we're giving you a solution that you can always build on, right? So it's not a solution that is gonna it's not a temporary solution. You're not creating, a small e-commerce shop that you're gonna throw away when this is over. This is not gonna be over on the one side. It's gonna be always, it's not gonna be always at the numbers that we projected, but it will definitely be there. We're having seen the trend, and we see that it's gonna stay. So we're giving you something that you can scale on, right? So first, you'll do more integrations with marketing, with customer engagement systems, with your backend system. You will start tweaking the process more. You start utilizing your order management more, your order management system more. You start getting, the customer behavior, the full read, the full cycle that we talked about. So yes, you can scale. You can take this solution that we give you in 3 to 4 weeks and keep building on it and building on it until you get full e-commerce operation.
Thanks, Sabi. So moving on to the next question, it's coming in from Puneet on YouTube, and he asks if eArabia can offer some platform to sell our goods online. I believe we've already talked about this. The second part of the question is, how is the pricing or commission based? I think this is also a really critical question, Sabi, because affordability is obviously on the top of every company's mind at the moment.
Definitely, yes. So affordability, it is quite affordable. What we did also, because we created this quick way of doing it, and we're trying to standardize the process, we are also able to bring the price down. So it may be an exaggeration if I would say, we are now at 25% of what it normally would cost you to implement a solution like CX commerce. But I think we are there. We are very close to 25% of what it normally costs you. So we're at 25% of the time and the cost of that. So yes, it is quite affordable. And that's why we're very happy with the solution that we came up with. And SAP, by the way, also worked with us, same thing on the license side. So I think we're both are in tandem, and the overall solution is very valuable for the value that you get.
I'd like to very quickly just build on to that question, Sabi, and also ask you, what about the timeliness to implement? Because obviously a lot of businesses are trying to adopt very quickly and evolve very quickly to the current situation. Can you talk a little bit about how timely the solution is? How quickly can you implement it?
Yes, well, again, I'm going to go back to something I said, which is the customer's readiness as well, correct? So there are two sides of this. There's the technical side, which I'm certain that we can implement within that time period. We will work with the client on how to best, so we will give them sort of like the expectations from their side. So we give them even the timelines, right? We want a sample catalog, for example, within the first week. And then within the second week, we would like all your static content to be there, right? When we give you the design, we would like for you to go through it and approve it, etc. So we give them sort of like the guidelines in order to meet this timeline. I think 3 to 4 weeks normally is especially for the type of clients that we deal with. They already have an ERP system or a good accounting system that puts all of their category, all of their products, categorized properly and accounted for properly. We can use that information. I think for the most part, we can comply within this 3 to 4 week time period to go live with the client.
Thank you. I hope that answered that question. Moving on, another good question coming in from an SME perspective, which asks, is this a viable option for smaller e-commerce businesses?
Yes, it is. It is definitely. I mean, it's again, we have brought it down to become within reach of the smaller businesses, right? So if you're someone who wants to sell T-shirts online, out of your home, maybe this is not the solution for you, right? But if you are a business, mid-size, we have an SME practice, and we're focused on that. Yes, you definitely would benefit from that because it will also allow you to grow as well. So it is, the solution is traditionally is viewed as a solution for the big corporations, the large-scale businesses. But because of what we've done to scale it down, and in terms of pricing and in terms of time to market, we believe that it's a great solution for business. We have small businesses using the system as well.
Super. I have Rashid on YouTube that asks, why is design critically important for e-commerce businesses?
Design is very important. Again, that goes back to the customer experience that we talked about. That's part of it. So yes, on the design side, you want to be able. It depends on again. Some customers are coming to browse. Some customers are coming to shop and get out as soon as possible. I'm one of those, right? I don't want to go into a site and lose myself. Some people would like to browse and see more and more details and granular details, and see product reviews and see even YouTubes and how-tos and everything about that product, etc. And so the design should enable every customer to get what they want. You should be able to go in and out in as fewer steps as possible. So we provide things like reorder. Like you can just reorder something that you've ordered in the past. We provide something called a wish list or a favorites list, correct? So where you can keep the items that you buy regularly from this place. And this is particularly important for food business, for example. So you have these two that you can use to go in, out in few clicks, right? And then we also have the regular journey where things are properly categorized. Things are, the flow is natural, and you can go into as many levels of details as you want. So we have on the product details page, sometimes it runs, it keeps running and running depending on you. We even have some of our customers have included recipes even in the product. So in the product, if you want, the more you want to know, you can. So the design, that same company that gives you the recipes and you can stay half an hour on their site, also has given you a way to go in and out within seconds. So the design is definitely very important.
Yeah, I think maybe just to add on top of that, before we go to the next question. So the UI, it's not only the UI, it's as Sabi also already mentioned, it's just the easiness of using the solution. If you look, for example, at Amazon, the UI is not amazing, but the way you use it and the way you go from buying a product, the whole end-to-end process, until even the fulfillment part. So don't stop at only placing the order online. If you talk about commerce, it's also the way you fulfill the order. So that also has an impact on the how customers look at you as a brand. So if the fulfillment was bad and buying online, the process was good, still customers will perceive it as not a good flow, not as a good specific commerce experience. So I think we need to keep that in mind, and not looking only on the UI, but really at how easy is the website to use for any kind of purposes that the person wants to use it for.
Absolutely, Shahid. Shahid, I have another question coming in from Saleh Al-Matawa, and I actually have a couple of people asking the same question, which is what type of industries are we seeing currently implementing e-commerce? Do we have any companies particularly in safety and equipment? Also, I'm just going to quickly add on to that question. What are some of the industry sectors that you guys are seeing, trending within the e-commerce space?
Well, maybe I will give it to Sab. I think from my side, what we see from SAP side, as I already mentioned, because of this time frame that we are in now, we see a lot of consumer products customer, a lot of wholesalers in that specific business. So from food perspective, so that's a no-brainer. So we all of them, from grocery retailers to the wholesalers who are selling products to those grocery retailers who wants to go B2B, who wants to go B2C. So in that domain, it's very hot. Besides that, we do have other line of businesses where we see business happening, but not as much as in the food and beverages businesses or the consumer products. We do have customers in the safety and equipment business, not in KSA that I'm aware of, but definitely we do have customers in that business. And I'm more than happy to the person who asked that question. He can reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to elaborate on that more, specifically to his business, what we do, what kind of use cases we have. That's definitely, I can go in more details one-to-one with that person. So my email address, I don't know if it will be shared, but it's just my name and that last name at sap.com. Reach out to me. I'm more.
So Shahid, I'm just going to jump in with, we are going to display your email address at the end of the session. So okay. in case we're not able to answer some of the questions, or if you'd like to get in touch with us post the session, please do. Okay, so I have a lot of questions coming in, but I think we're short on time. So I'm going to just pick up the last two questions very quickly. I have Mohammed that asks on YouTube, do you think that an ERP is essential to be used with the SAP commerce solution described in your presentation?
From an SAP side, so if I talk just from SAP side, maybe then to you, it's not mandatory. So we do have customers. We had customers who have been starting their business online on commerce with no integration to an ERP system. So then we can still fulfill the order online on the commerce business if there is no ERP in the backend. Probably there is somehow an ERP available somewhere where they do manage the financials, where they do manage the warehouse or the stocks. If not, commerce can run as a standalone. So the possibility is there. We don't see it that often, but the possibility is there.
Well, okay. let me comment on that. Yes. So people have started selling and have started having stores before even ERPs existed, right? So you had people selling. So your storefront, whether you are renting a store in a mall or in the old market, it's your store is your store, right? You don't need an ERP for that. So e-commerce has to be by definition. It's your store online, right? So it has to be by definition It has to be a standalone solution, correct? Now, the value of having an ERP, we see it that if you do have one, then you probably have all of your products there. You have your pricing strategies there. You have your inventory there. You have everything there, correct? But if you don't, it's fine. It is your it's sort of like your store. It's your face of the world. You're going to be using it to sell to your customers. And if you whatever accounting system you have, we probably will be able to integrate with this these days. It has become, technology has advanced quite a bit that we can integrate almost with any system that is out there.
Yeah, just commerce. So just SAP Commerce does provide everything related to that. So we do manage the orders, we can manage the financials, the pricing, so that from a technical perspective, we can run it as a standalone solution.
Great, very well put, guys. Thank you. I hope that answered your question. I have another question coming in. Again, a good question coming in from Vimal, who asks, how would it be different from Shopify or any other solution which can be launched immediately?
Well, let me take that one. I usually like to answer that question, right? Yes, Shopify would be great. I mentioned the example, and I always say that if I want to sell T-shirts because I can do printing now on T-shirts, and I feel like I'm the best designer of T-shirts in the world, I would go with Shopify. I would not recommend going with a SAP CX Commerce. So you're right. On the one side, you are definitely right. But if you want to build a sophisticated e-commerce solution, even if you build it on Shopify, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you a long while, right? And also, if you are an operation that had multiple stores, you have multiple catalogs, you have multiple currencies, multiple languages, multiple integrations with payment gateways, fulfillment, etc., then you will definitely need a more sophisticated solution, right? And Shopify will not provide you that. Definitely, SAP CX is actually ranked #1 globally on many of the charts, and it's a solution that it's not fair to compare it to Shopify. Shopify has its value. They've done a tremendous job to bring e-commerce to the attention to the average person. They are rightfully, so they own that market especially for the smaller e-commerce store, and we congratulate them on the good job that they've done. But there's no comparison really. If you want a sophisticated, or not necessarily that sophisticated, but if you want a good e-commerce solution that would work and you can grow and expand on in the future, then you are better served with going with something like an SAP Commerce.
Thank you, Sabi. Thank you. That was a really nice way of answering that question. Okay, so I'm going to pick up one last question. And I think this is a great question to wrap up our session with. Haider Shah asks on our YouTube channel, with this paradigm shift that we're seeing from traditional retail to e-commerce, do you foresee there being a massive competition and price war? And what can we expect in the next year or so, guys?
Well, it may happen, yes. It may happen because, look, I remember the first time we went into a customer back in 2014, which, 2014 is not really that long ago, but in e-commerce, especially in the Middle East, it looks like a lifetime, right? I mean, at the time, probably 99% of businesses did not have an e-commerce solution. So at that time, we went in and we're trying to convince the store owners, like major operation, we're trying to convince them, and they're against e-commerce because they don't want to publish their pricing, right? Because they're worried that there will be, people are going to take advantage of that. Now, this is something that we cannot avoid in this day and age, right? So yes, people will know your pricing. They will try to beat them. Yes, there will be some price wars, and it happened. It happened in the West. It happened in Europe. It happened in the US, where now you don't necessarily now anymore go with the lowest price, and people have realized that online is not necessarily your cheapest solution for shopping. You can a lot of the brick and mortar have also shifted their strategy so that they are able to provide you with products that that you can afford, but also because of the multi-channel and because the fact that they can return it to your store and you can pick up from them, etc. That type of service, that level of service, gives them an edge, so you will be willing to pay high price. So yes, there may be a price war for a while, but I think that ultimately it will balance. There will be a balance, and we'll achieve that medium that everyone is happy with, based on the service that they provide.
All right, so I think that wraps up our session for today. Sabi, Shahid, thank you so much. I hope everyone that joined us was able to take away some sort of insights. Thank you all for interacting with us and asking us some really good questions today. Once again, just to reiterate, if you didn't get a chance to ask a question, or if your question wasn't answered for some reason, can you please get in touch with us on the email that's displayed on your screen right now? We'll be happy to get back to you as soon as we can. Shahid, Sabi, pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for joining, and I hope you're staying safe. And hopefully this will be over soon.
Let's hope that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.